talked about the reviews and that they are guided by science and evidence, and we need to really be sure that we're taking the time to go through all of that.
As we mentioned earlier in the program, Health Canada's chief medical advisor says the approval of the Pfizer vaccine for kids aged 5 to 11 is still a few weeks away. But in the U.S., we could see shots in arms a lot sooner. But some kids have already received a COVID vaccine through a clinical trial, though not here in Canada. Tonight, we wanted to go beyond the headlines with parents in the United States who know this experience firsthand. Emily Solari's 3 children took part in the Pfizer trial. Brett Hughes' 2 daughters were in the Moderna trial, and Rebecca Davis' son also in the Moderna trial. Welcome to all 3 of you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Emily, so this was a trial, and I'll bet a lot of parents watching this are wondering, were you anxious at all about enrolling your kids?
We were not. We had sort of very closely followed the trial for the adults. We knew that there was demonstrated safety and efficacy in the adult population. And we also had some details about the trial that the dosage would be less than what adults received. And we had very clear communication between us and the folks on the research team about what the procedures would be. And we felt really safe enrolling in the trial.
And Brett, what about you? Any nervousness at all?
Very little nervousness. I really trusted the science. At the time, my wife had the Pfizer vaccine. I had the Moderna vaccine as well. It worked well with us. We knew it worked well across the country and everybody else who's taking it. So I was very confident that the trial was going to go smoothly with my daughters.
So you and your wife, Brett, were very confident, but I understand you have some family members who are not vaccinated. What was their view of you enrolling your kids in this trial?
It was some shock. It was some shock. But you know, it was one concern that I have with trials in general, with drugs in the U.S. is that my demographic is not really represented a lot. And this was a chance. I would have loved to participate in the trial, the adult trial myself, but since I did not have that opportunity, I thought it was great that my daughters had the opportunity, and they were really fired up about it because they wanted to help in this pandemic as well. So we were very confident going in, and hopefully, I don't know if it changed the minds of people in my family, but hopefully it changed some minds out there.
All right, cute video alert. Rebecca, you sent us some video of your son, Will, telling us about why he wanted to be part of the trial, and we're going to play a portion of that right now.
I want to make sure other kids can get vaccinated, and also, I haven't been able to see my friends in a while, and now, I finally can because I got into the trial.
So, Rebecca, really impressive kid you have there. Tell us about the conversation you had with him about the trial.
Well, he has a lot of health anxiety, and I think he was eager to get protection from COVID-19 once his father and I were able to get our shots, and he was kind of felt left out. So I suggested that he might want to do the trial, and I signed him up, and he got in a few months later, and it's been a good experience for us.
And Rebecca, give us a sense, because, all of us who are watching or most of us anyway, have not gone through something like this. How closely are your kids monitored through this?
They're very closely monitored. For the duration of the trial, we're supposed to tell them about every tummy ache and every, broken arm or anything that comes up that might not have anything to do with the trial. They want to know it. And they had us do e-diaries for, about a week after both shots. And they wanted to know his temperature, and they wanted to know, does he have this symptom, that symptom? I felt like it was pretty thorough, and it was thorough, but not invasive or anything. It wasn't like we'd have to go in a bunch of times. They just had us do the e-diary. It's pretty easy.
And Brett, for adults, lots of different stories about symptoms. Some people have no symptoms after the shot. Other people, sore arms. Other people feel like they have the flu for, a day or so. What about for your kids? What kind of reaction did they have to the shots?
My oldest, Sophia, had no side effects whatsoever. My youngest, Sydney, she had some headaches, but she's kind of prone to headaches as well. So we monitored that, and they proved to be transient.
Emily, the big question for people who are watching and those who might be hesitant about giving their kids vaccines once that rolls out across the country, what would you say to them?
I would say, just following up a little bit on how closely the kids were monitored, you should feel very safe that this was studied closely. My kids actually received their first shot in June, and and they got the Pfizer vaccine, so they will be unblinded next week. So we'll be able to find out which one of them got the vaccine. But they had been monitored this entire time. There have been follow-up appointments. And I've been really impressed with the level of data collection to ensure the safety for the vaccine.
And Rebecca, similar question to you. I mean, this is a big question, right? And so, again, what would you say to parents watching about getting their kids vaccinated?
I feel like it's totally normal and reasonable to have questions or hesitancies or be unsure. And I would just encourage those parents to take those questions up with their doctors and the pediatricians and the medical professionals that they've chosen. Because I feel like, that's who you should be getting the medical information from, not from your family or your friends. Like, you should go to the experts. And that's what I would just implore everybody thinking they're not sure to go and ask the experts.
And Brett, we have about 30 seconds left. You mentioned that your community, the African-American community, has had, lower perhaps rates of vaccination than some other communities. And there are trust issues here in Canada among some people when it comes to vaccines and the medical profession. So last word to you. What's your message to those who just might not trust the system when it comes to vaccinating kids?
There's nothing in this earth I love more than my children. So if I'm comfortable to have my children take this vaccine, they should be comfortable as adults and their children to get the vaccine as well. It works. It works. Trust the science. It works.
Well, all three of you are so impressive, and thank you very much for speaking with us here in Canada tonight.
Of course. Thank you
very
for
much for having us.